Hey guys, what is happening? Das here, and well, today I thought I'd show you something really cool that I've been working on for the past couple of days, and well, at least I think it's really cool. But basically, what I've managed to develop is a circuitry system within Don't Starve. So let me just stress that this is completely using no mods, nothing like that. I am using test tools, but that doesn't modify the game at all. I'm basically trying to I developed a system that you can use within Don't Starve. To create kind of trigger scenarios or make some sort of one-time use circuitry. So basically what this is, it makes use of the burning aspect of Don't Starve, burnable objects. So let's just say I was to spawn a robin feather, there it is, and I was to get a torch, real quick. What happens if I use a torch, I can actually light the feather on fire. Oh, I'm on fire too. Ah, shoot. But you can see it's going to burn, kind of like any other burnable object within the game. And you know, you're probably looking at me going, "How is this relevant?" Well, if I get a whole line of them, like that, and I burn one side, it will burn all the way across until it reaches the other side. In essence, we're kind of passing a signal from this side to this side, which is pretty cool. But anyway, that's kind of, not very helpful, because what kind of adventure map is going to want to have someone go up and burn some feathers? It just doesn't make a lot of sense. So I kind of wanted to make that into more of a button format kind of thing. I also wanted to try and turn it into something where you can activate it from a distance, from behind a wall or something like that, so that it could be a lot cooler, like you're kind of hitting a switch, kind of Zelda-esque kind of stuff with your boomerang or whatever. But anyway, you can't actually activate this with your boomerang, which is a bit unfortunate. Maybe I'll develop something where you can do that. But anyway, if we come over to this bunker over here, doodle-doo, test bunker. You'll see I've got a little test scenario set up over here, and basically we're going to try and activate this wiring here from behind this wall. So we come over to this little chest here, and we get a fire staff. And what we can do is we can attempt to light this, and if we just do this, and it'll say right mouse button light, we can click it. But Wilson's going to run all the way around the barricade to try and light it manually, which is not what we want to do. And so basically, we're going to try and light this from behind this wall by one very simple abuse of things, I suppose. If we hit control, we have the option to now attack the wood wall, and if we attack the wood wall with a fire staff equipped, what will actually happen is Wilson will use the magical fire staff projectile to attack the wall, which will inevitably light it on fire. So we can try that out. We'll also try and light the crow on fire as well.
Crow brethren, avenge me!
It's on fire. We had some gunpowder up here, and it's going to blow up the tree. That really never gets old. That's really cool. Anyway, that's that pretty much. But if we come over here as well, we can also see that we can actually use fire darts as well. So we'll just quickly run around here, running around the side. Now I'm not going to set up some circuitry. I'm just going to basically place a wall there. Fire darts are a bit different because they are a bit more temperamental. Sometimes they'll work, sometimes they won't. Sometimes they get caught in the walls. So it's best to use a fire staff. If you want them to only be able to use it once, you can give it 5% because it takes 5% up when it's used. If we attack the wood wall, that time it worked. It normally does work, but there's a slight chance that it won't work. So best off to use a fire staff. Woo! In a lot of scenarios, but obviously this time it was better to use the little fire darts. Anyway, up next, I'd like to show you some basic outputs that you can get from this, because obviously if we get an input of burning the wire, what's the point of that? We need some kind of output from that. So over here, I've developed a few outputs that you can use. There's probably more. I didn't really think this through very much. But the first one here, you can see it's a wire leading to some hay walls. And you might think, oh, what kind of output's this? Well, the output is actually of fire. And you're probably thinking, how is that an output? We're burning things. its input is fire, how can its output be fire? Well, basically, let's just say this is an adventure map, and you had the player press a button. Let's just say this is a button. They can then, like, destroy a wall in the adventure map by burning it. And so, if that was a wall, pressing this button would inevitably burn it. So we can just do that. We can attack it, light it on fire, and you can see it's gonna burn. Woo! It's burned. Oh yeah. So that was pretty exciting. The next one is also probably one that might be pretty obvious. We just used it just before to blow up the tree, but the second kind of output you can have is explosions from gunpowder, slurtle slime, all kinds of things. I think slurtles themselves blow up, even their mounts. So anything to do with explosions you can have as an output. So if we attack this wood wall with our fire star, you'll see we can now light all this gunpowder on fire, and it's inevitably going to explode. And that's pretty cool. Now this one would have to be my favourite one because it's actually the most versatile out of them all. Here you'll see we just have a little chest here, but it's I'm not really sure. I think it might just be a normal chest. So we're just going to spawn some food in, and we're just going to kind of even that out? No, we're just going to distribute that out. We're actually going to delete this chest for the moment, because I want to try and show you something cool. Basically, that was a rigged chest, and when rigged chests explode, they actually will produce the output of whatever, like, rig they had. Whatever they were trapped to do. So if it was a winter chest, it would make it winter. That one, I think, was a rotten food chest. So if you open it, it makes your food rotten. And there's a whole horde of chests that do different things, spawning ghosts, all kind of stuff. So they're really cool to be able to use that. Now that's kind of weird because I think sometimes they will not work properly, and when you open them, they will actually not trigger the trap. So I'm not sure about that. That might be a bug. That might be intentional. But in any case, yeah. If it is a bug, it'd be awesome if that could be fixed, because it's kind of a really useful output. If it isn't a bug, well, you know, that kind of limits their usefulness. But for some, like the spoiling food and the winter chest, you can actually just use lots and lots of them to activate the trap. So that's actually what we're going to do right now. I'm going to show you how to create a rigged chest. It's actually really simple. We go to the debug console. We just type in require console commands. I'll put I'll put what I'm actually typing in here in the video so you guys can see. But yeah, require bracket quotation marks console commands quotation marks bracket, and then that's all good. Now we just type in C underscore spawn. C underscore spawn. What am I spawning again? Treasure chest. That's right. Treasure chest. That's just one word. Treasure chest. It'll spawn under the mouse. Now what we want to do is we want to go C underscore do scenario. Do scenario and chest. Food spoil. Ah, not good spoil. Food spoil. That's the name of the one that does the food rotting. Now we're going to actually just spawn another one here in case this doesn't work, because I've had notorious luck with trying to get this to work. C spawn chest. No, treasure chest. Sorry about this. This is probably taking you a little while, but this stuff does. So C do scenario again. What is it? Food spoil. Chest food spoil. Alright, there we go, we're done with that. Now if we go over to here, and this is why I got the turkey dinner here, so you guys can see what's going to happen to the food. So we take that, it's going to go over to these chests, and it's going to explode them. And we should see that the food should spoil. Which it obviously didn't. That's really awkward. Anyway, yeah, I've got no idea why that does that. You can see that actually had it actually had all the stuff in it, all the rot, even though I just spawned the treasure chest. But why it didn't activate, I have no idea. We'll see if this works or not. So we're just going to attack this, and hopefully you should see this turkey dinner here. it should, if everything's gone to plan, make it go really bad. Yep, you can see there, at least one of those chests, I don't know if this one was actually rigged or not, but one of these chests did something, and you can see now we have some stale turkey dinner, which is not great, but you know, for an adventure map, that could be quite a cool thing. This is a really kind of fun one. I don't know why I bothered making it, but it's a thing. This is the output of sound, so you can actually kind of, for some strange reason, if you could decide you wanted to create some sort of sound output, you can have this entire system rigged up to some living logs, and when you burn living logs, they do this. I don't want to give too much away because it's pretty fun. Yeah, there you go. They kind of go raw. So you know that could be fun as a thing, just kind of putting some living logs in your wiring and just have like raw after you press the button. And this is the last one, guys. Don't worry. There's not much more in terms of output that I've discovered so far. So here we have a little light flower. Now the cool thing about light flowers is the fact that they burn because they're a plant, and basically we can abuse that to yeah, that's right. We can abuse that to our advantage. And what we're going to do here is we've got currently we've got a light source. If you want to remove a light source, it's kind of difficult because we've got, you know what, campfires, and there's some light sources that will turn on all the time. But if you want to get rid of a light source, this is about the only thing we can do. So what we can do is we can activate this little wall, send the signal down, and we'll burn the light flower. And what this is going to do is it's going to destroy the light source. And I don't really know how that's that practical, but you can destroy a light source if you wanted to. And so there you go. There's some fun output. Whoa! Hello. I really wanted to turn that into an output, but I can't. So anyway, that's not an output, an input. So that's the various different types of outputs. Yeah, outputs. And so just to recap, there was the output of fire. We had the output of what was it? Gunpowder explosions and whatnot. We had the output of trapped chests of various different kinds. We had the output of sound, and we had the output of absence of light, which is, I don't really know how it's an output, but you know, it can be an output if it wants to be. Alrighty guys, just one last thing I should probably mention just before I finish this video up. It's the reason why I chose to use feathers for the system. So you can see there's a little feather there. And well, the answer's kind of weird. It's kind of that you don't actually have to use feathers. It's completely unnecessary to use feathers. I personally like to use feathers, and obviously I use them for the most part of this video here. But basically, initially I was actually using petals. And petals are great and all because, you know, they burn. And, you know, that's great. Except eventually they turn into rot. This lovely little pile of whatever it is. And while you can actually light rot on fire, I figured it wouldn't look very nice for a wiring system. So I kind of decided I have to try and change it. So I looked frantically through all the things that I could choose from here, and eventually I basically just kind of decided upon the feather. And the reason for that predominantly was the fact there's actually 3 different types, which is pretty cool. Oh, I've got one straight. 3 different types of feathers, so you can actually color code your wiring if you wanted to, which is really, really cool. So yeah, I mean that's pretty much that. There's no real big secret to it. I just like to use feathers, so there you go. But basically, I thought I'd also mention that there is some other ways to make your wiring that can be better than feathers. Because obviously, someone in an adventure map can come and just pick them up, and your wiring is basically ruined. So basically, additionally, here's a really, really cool one that I found out. But you can use obelisks. No, not obelisks. Mushrooms. That's what I'm trying to find. Where is it? No, mushrooms. Here we go. Let's try that again, shall we? Mushrooms. And they're really cool. You can see I can't actually interact with this at all. I can kind of like mosh my head or something like that, but I really can't interact with it at all unless I have a shovel, in which case I can dig them up. But that's pretty much the only way I can interact with those. So if you restrict access to a shovel within your adventure map, so because obviously they require a science machine and twigs and flint, if you can get rid of all the flint, for example, get rid of it, they actually can't build anything. So that's a really cool way of kind of, you know, making your wire pseudo tamper-proof. And the really cool thing is there's actually like 3 different types. So you've got the red mushrooms here, and additionally you've also got the green mushrooms, which you obviously can't see. And if you play your cards right, I've got an all day map, always day here. So if I place a green or blue mushroom here, they will always be in the ground. And I'll just prove it to you, they do actually light on fire. I was actually really hoping the ones that were in the ground wouldn't light on fire, and the ones that were above the ground would. I was actually trying to make some daylight logic in which I would, you know, it would create a different kind of output depending on what time of day it was. So, you know, the ones that were above the ground, say it was daytime, if I had some red mushrooms going along here, let's just say they're red mushrooms for now, and they went out like that, and then I had some real red mushrooms this time, and they went along this way, and whatnot. You know, you light something on fire with this, and then you'd hope that, you know, only the one that's currently up would be on fire afterwards. But that's not the case, so there you go. That kind of sucks, but that doesn't matter. I'm not too concerned. Anyway, so the final one here, this one's a bit more of a weird one, I will admit. But the marsh plant. The marsh plant, yeah, I know, it's kind of a... Look at it, it's so weird, it's so spiky. I don't understand. But basically, this one's really cool, because you can't actually do anything with it. You can like look at it, you can examine it, you can walk to it. In fact, it's hard to even walk to it half the time. We can get a shovel, we can try and dig it, but it's not going to work. It's pretty much a permanent fixture in your world, which is kind of a bit bad. But the thing is, you can light them on fire. So there you go. That is actually 100% tamper-proof wiring system. If you wanted to use that, obviously I'm going to continue to use my feathers here because feathers are cool and they're color codable, and plants aren't. So yeah. But obviously those they all had their advantages. They all have their disadvantages. Obviously mushrooms are really cool because they kind of look invisible-ish. And I have to say ish with a very big ish. That's not a mushroom. You know, you can't, it's kind of hard to see that. In a lot of ways. But yeah, there you go guys. I'm just going to kind of spam all kinds of feathers around me because, you know, it's the end of the video. And I hope you guys enjoyed this. I'm really quite excited to see what you guys can come up with using this system, if you choose to use this system at all. And yeah. I've got a lot more videos coming up, guys, so get excited about that. There's all kinds of awesome input mechanisms and all kinds of output things that you can do in terms of using this system. So keep track of that. Yeah, I guess so. And until next time, guys. Hang on, this is going to be a great ending. Watch this. Until next time, guys. Salutations. I'm Das, and I'm currently on fire. And dead.